If Alistair Darling looked a little tentative, he had reason to. For today, the Chancellor stepped into unknown territory, and the country with him. This man doesn't have a reputation as a gambler, but truly, the plan he has outlined represents a dramatic throw of the dice. Only months ago, no one could have imagined anything this radical, but in those months, the world has changed.
My pre-budget statement today is made against a background of economic uncertainty not seen for generations. These are extraordinary, challenging times for the global economy, and they are having an impact on businesses and families right across the world. Borrowing will rise to £78 billion this year and £118 billion next, or 8% of GDP. But then, from 2010, as I take action to reduce borrowing, when the economy begins to recover, borrowing will fall to £105 billion, then 87, then 70, then £54 billion. And by 2015-16, we will again be borrowing only to invest. This means that the projection...
That was as noisy as it got. Much of the time the House listened. With announcements coming thick and fast, no one wanted to miss anything.
I therefore propose to cut VAT from 17.5% to 15% until the end of next year. From April 2011, I intend only on income over £150,000 to introduce a new rate of income tax of 45%. I propose, therefore, from April 2011 to increase by 0.5% all rates of national insurance contributions for both employees and employers.
As for the future, the Chancellor is much more optimistic than many observers.
I too am forecasting that output will continue to fall in the UK for the first 2 quarters of next year. But then, because of the decisions taken in this pre-budget report, I expect it to start to recover, and GDP growth for 2009 is forecast to be between -0.75% and -1.25%.
The Tories' key message is that there are tax cuts now, but tax rises ahead, and so an aggressive shadow Chancellor trained his fire on one measure that had not been pre-trailed.
National insurance, an income tax in all but name. He didn't give his figures, so I will. £4 billion tax increase on families and jobs, more in tax for a qualified nurse, more for a police officer, £100 million on the annual NHS wage bill.
There will be more battles like this to come, some of them doubtless on a future election campaign.
A record borrowing binge and a lifetime of tax rises under Labour, or fiscal sanity and lower taxes that last under the Conservatives.
Now questions begin. Will a VAT cut get anyone spending this Christmas? Can Alistair Darling convince people he'll bring borrowing under control, convince the banks to start lending to people? We can't know tonight if this statement will do the job, but if it works, the Chancellor will claim credit not just for helping turn the economy round, but for putting the Labour Party, dead and buried not so long ago, right back in the electoral frame. Joey Jones, Sky News at the Treasury.